man may be unwittingly changing the world's climate through the waste products of his civilization.
The burning of coal, oil, and wood is releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
My friend Hema, she's kept a stall here. So she invited me and I just came. It's very nice. Gives a very positive, very calm kind of a vibe around. And the way all the architecture is done is like, wealth out of waste kind of a thing.
As cities expand and accelerate, the kind of places where people can simply arrive without any role, without any agenda, has become harder to find. Some people who come here made a deliberate choice to do so. Others followed an invitation or a passing curiosity and ended up staying longer than they expected.
It was a gap primarily that we were trying to respond to, and it wasn't just one, there's quite a few. So I mentioned Ajay earlier, him and his partner, that the primary co-founders of the space, Manisha, when they were conceptualizing this, a big source of inspiration was their daughter. The big kind of cloud that was hanging over them was, what is this future that we're leaving to our daughter?
2014, 2015, warmest year around the warmest year on record. It is this activity which drove mankind out of the Garden of Eden.
We're hearing so much about this poly-crisis around climate and socio-economic issues and mental health issues, but is anyone really doing anything significant about it? Equally, they were also really quite connected with creative folks, change makers, artists that were doing incredible work. So they wanted to kind of marry these two opportunities where there's this gap of people not addressing in a scalable, significant way matters of climate, well-being, and also creativity. So that's why BCC kind of came about to essentially create access, to be a one-stop shop for anything with potential for positive impact. While we want to create impact, none of it is possible without community. So the other big gap was to address the lack of third spaces, the lack of safe spaces for people to just be, people to attend event, or spaces where they can come and feel safe and a sense of belonging.
Bangalore Creative Circus occupies an unusual position in the city's social landscape. Founded in response to what its creators described as a growing absence of third spaces, of unhurried time, and of community built outside of commercial or institutional frameworks. The space has continued to evolve through the people who use it.
I think architecture plays a huge role in relational dynamics in how people behave or how they even think. And so this is the first building that was built in this whole campus. As you can maybe see in the camera, the walls are quite fluid. There are not too many right angles. And in many ways, I feel like it influences the fluidity of the work that we try to bring about over here. I would say the aspect of creativity is more or less ingrained in most nooks and corners of BCC. When people come to our space and engage with the interiors that have basically recycled over 80% material to turn it into decor, I think in some way influences the way they start seeing the world. It influences the way that they start seeing waste that could have the potential to become a resource for something new. Everything that has been designed here is meant for people to get out of textbooks, get out of the internet, get out of hearsay information to see sustainability in action. More or less every intervention into this place is either exploring building with waste or passive lighting or passive cooling. So in many ways, that is across the entire space. There are specific features in the space that become part of the community center in many ways. The primary one is the restaurant. I say primary because it's the main attraction, food. The restaurant is meant to demonstrate what we understand sustainable food to mean. Then we have the central space, which is essentially the most fluid. It's like 8,000 square feet central hall. That space is used for markets, for workshops, for festivals, all sorts of things. We have a small crowdsourced library, part of it is like a miscellaneous library, a part of it is a climate library. Above us is another space called the conference room. It's entirely built using upcycled cabin glass and MDF boards. There's a maker space, which primarily in the initial days we used as a studio to create all of the architectural art interventions in the space. Now we've opened it up to other folks, so people can come here and do carpentry, metal fabrication, whole bunch of other things. We have an entire section dedicated to the arts. We have quite a few meditation and well-being related spaces in there. Next to that, we have an acoustically treated sound room. So it's for musicians. We have 2 or 3 more aspects. We have one small section called the museum. It's a space where we have interactive exhibitions on sustainability. And then the last sections are to do with urban farming. So we have hydroponics, which is growing plants in water using vertical spaces. Aquaponics, which is a combination of fish, algae and plants in a closed loop system. And then of course permaculture, which is like mimicking a natural forest to grow food. And in many ways, more than learning, it's the experiential aspect of breathing in that fresh air, feeling this small pocket of green and calm amidst an urban jungle that actually is the biggest benefit of having that garden. As a result of that, we've even set up a small meeting room there that we call the unconference room. That really, the hope is for people to reimagine the way that they have their work meetings, the way that they have any sort of workshops even. Because it's a mix of so many things in one, like the primary funda of the place is something that's important that I'd like to share, which is one of interconnections. The idea really is like we can't be change makers or solving problems if we look at the world in a fragmented way. We need to see that climate and well-being and socio-economics, etc., are all deeply interconnected. And that's why our space stands for all of these things.
Participation in environments like this tends to be self-directed and gradual. People here learn by watching, by trying, and by returning. Knowledge here moves through the space laterally, between the participants and across generations, through the simple act of doing something together.
There are different techniques of doing this. So when we wind and when we twine, they kind of really enjoy it because it has to go across each nail. So they miss a single nail, the entire thing comes off. And then they're like, oh my God, I have to do it all over again. So I think that joy of doing thing is what makes me very happy. Over time, I think there's been a loss of hands-on work. But why, if you ask me why it's very important, I think this is encoded in our DNAs. We are very primal to this. We have always worked with our hands. I'm not going to tell people what kind of form of working with hands you choose. It can be gardening, it can be pottery, it can be painting, it can be playing with beads, it can be playing with seeds or making string art, or even picking coffee or picking something. It can be anything. I think working with hands fulfills the 3 things. That is working with the hand, heart and head. It brings a full circle. But working with hands makes a lot of difference. So my whole thing is work with hands. Like it brings a lot of joy. It brings me to the present. So that's what I love about it.
Some participants at BCC bring with them a relationship with sustainability that is already embedded in their materials and their craft.
All our products are made from Kanna, also known as water reed in English. They are 100% biodegradable, sustainable and eco-friendly. So traditionally, Kanna grass was used to make traditional mats like this. So in recent few decades, we started making into accessories like bags, baskets, and all my products are made by women artisans from Manipur. When we make things with our hands, we need certain kinds of skills, and also the concentration and love that goes into making a product is valuable. We always have connections with the customers. They like to know our story. They would like to know about our products, as I find it's unique over here at least. And yeah, we get connection with lots of people.
Repeated visits here changes things quietly. People begin to re-examine their familiar habits around consumption. They also rediscover their creative engagement. And they find themselves more at ease within a collective space that asks very little of them in return.
I visit BCC at least 2 to 3 times a month. It's very easy to just exist here and interact with like-minded people and be in a space that just feels slow. Yeah, I feel like modern day consumption has taken away that human touch. So being here, you really see the people behind the products, that makes it a lot easier for you to sort of humanize it and enjoy it. The way it's constructed, it's very easy to just fit in. You feel like a part of the space rather than just a guest visiting it. And it's very easy and different for each and every person. So you kind of find your own place in this space that makes it really welcoming and fun to be in.
Genuinely, I feel like the most directly impactful engagements that we host are with students. Because I feel like students come in with far more openness and curiosity. I can quite safely say that many of them leave, even if they don't have all the answers, they leave with many more important questions to ask. And people who are artists, who host spaces here, to see them start to collaborate with each other after having met here, to see them start to scale their work and expand the scope of their work is something that we found to be very inspiring.
Commitment to sustainability brings its own set of challenges. Some are logistical, others run deeper than that.
The challenge is not just to do with sustainable living and running a space like this, but sustainable living and the practice of it for anybody to adopt that lifestyle in a way that is affordable, in a way that's convenient. And those are the two metrics usually that people face resistance around adopting a sustainable lifestyle. It's those same lifestyle adoption challenges that we also face here, which is that we feel like we're a little bit of an outlier. For us to truly have an impact in our core aspect of sustainability on the people that use our space is a big challenge. We work in the space of sustainability and it feels like, wow, there's so many people that actually work in this space and it's really inspiring and there's a huge movement that's taking over and it's going to have really scalable solutions in the near future. I still truly hope that that is the case. But every once in a while, we also take a step back to understand that we are actually in a small bubble. We're in a niche. There is a mainstream in our own city of Bangalore that does not care about sustainability. So I would say that's one big aspect. How can we mainstream sustainability? And of course, continuing to adopt it in our really large and diverse space in the best way possible, continuously maintaining and evolving those systems. Like we've had a lot of troubles with waste management. As much as we've tried to create segregation systems, because the number of people that engage with the space, it goes for a toss. People essentially put waste in whichever color bin they want to. Segregation becomes a problem. Composting on our own becomes a problem because sometimes volumes are too much for our small systems. So like that, getting the word out, but also continuing to adopt it on our own. Because we're not adopting that moral high ground saying that we are experts and we'll show you the way. We recognize that we ourselves need to continue to embody and practice it.
Inclusivity as an intention meets friction in practice. Who feels comfortable entering a space? Who feels seen within it? And who remains on the periphery? These patterns follow existing social and cultural fault lines. Even the most open spaces carry that tension. And this one is no different.
I can very honestly say that the intention is to be as inclusive as possible. Inclusive beyond economic background or capacity, inclusive beyond cultural, social norms, and obviously inclusive beyond geography, because we're open for people to visit from anywhere. And language, invariably, the people who have hosted spaces here, I would say over 90% of them, they've hosted workshops, performances, etc. in English. And they will, of course, pass around the information around the space to others who are predominantly English-speaking people. Our social media, website, everything, mostly just English. So in that way, that's a big filter. But obviously, everything that we want to achieve is for people beyond just English-speaking folks. Thankfully, the economic aspect on paper at least is not a big thing, but there is a psychological influence I do want to recognize, because when people see the kind of people engaging with this place, the kind of decor, there's immediately a feeling of like othering. It's like I don't belong there. We're trying to do some things to address that with our local community here. So there's migrant kind of community from Tamil Nadu that's settled here for the last 75 years, just across the road. We've tried on a few occasions to build bridges with them because, of course, for us to have a ripple effect of change, we need to start close to home. But I do want to recognize that the divide still exists. It's mostly psychological, but there are some physical aspects as well, and I think it's our intention to try and address them.
Community isn't something you can really organize into existence. It just accumulates through hours spent together, through half-finished projects, through inside jokes, and most importantly, through the feeling that you're just allowed to exist somewhere without having to earn your place.
Usually there's like a lot of surveillance and a lot of rules as to how you exist in places. But because of the openness and the community that's here, you get to be your authentic self and just slow down and enjoy life, which I feel like is very rare in these days.
They actually practice what they preach, right? And that is a very, very, very strong element. And if you see here, community is not only the people who are coming to shop here, right? You can see how a lot of people who have come here to show their talents across, they're also communicating with each other. So there's a very organic evolution of community space here. The essence of community BCC holds is what makes me keep coming back over and over again. And this is also home. I love to call BCC home.
So I feel like Bangalore is a beautiful ecosystem landscape for many of the aspects that BCC offers, but in isolation. Like you have the cafes and the co-working spaces that are really creative and really cozy, and they allow for co-working. You have learning spaces in the forms of museums and libraries. You have spaces for play. You have spaces for performances. You have some community centers for events and workshops. And of course, there are restaurants. In many ways, I'd like to think is BCC's USP as being a space that ticks all of those boxes and connects all of those things to essentially be a space for all. And that's also an aspect of the inclusivity here, where we want to design something for everybody. So that literally, if you're a senior person, if you're a toddler, if you're a teenager, if you're a student, if you're a working professional, if you're a couple, a family, whatever, there's something here for you, either in the physical space or in the form of an event. One unique aspect is just that it's a mix of so many different opportunities. I think another thing that I can very safely say we share with many other spaces, but so I won't say that is absolutely unique, is that impact always comes first. We recognize that for us to sustain our work, for us to be able to be fair to ourselves and to the people that are employed here, we need to make ends meet and hit certain financial targets and also be sustainable in that regard. But in many ways, the business plan of BCC kind of starts with how can we do the best with our resources? How can we have the most impact that we potentially can create? And then the second question is how do we make it work financially? So in many ways, that's kind of been the process from the beginning, from when we were identifying the vision and mission. So I feel like it's in some way challenging for us as well, but it's a challenge that we've consciously taken up because we believe in what we do.
What a space enables is rarely what appears in any description of it. The harder questions of who it serves, how it sustains itself, and whether impact can outlast intention don't resolve easily. But the attempt to hold all of it together in one space for everyone is where the experiment continues. And in a city that rarely slows down, the fact that such an attempt is being made at all is not a small thing.